you.
Yeah, great.
Whoa, this ain't going.
Be down the side. And
But I appreciate everybody on the chat tonight for your comments. Well, good afternoon, beekeepers. Welcome back to Thursday night at the Bee Connection. We are so glad to have y'all with us tonight. Hopefully we'll have some good conversations about beekeeping. It looks like everybody in the South is getting to have a little fun. Us, it's still raining and still cold. So we are getting to see the bees to come out in the afternoons, and that's nice. Getting to do some cleansing flights. And right before the show, me and Keith talked about a little bit of pollen coming into the hives, and don't know where it's coming from. So, but the bees know, and they know what they need. So that's the most important thing. Sunday, maybe a little snow for us, and definitely going to get cold, and temperatures shall rebound fairly nicely after that. So it's that time of year. So I do appreciate everybody getting on with us tonight. Tom and Melissa may not be here. I'm not sure. I didn't get a chance to ask them. They do have their conference. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get to go. So anybody that's going, I do apologize that I will not be there. I had a little bit of a water issue here at the house, and we spent some money replacing water pump and the floor. So that's part of life. It's always something that pops up. So, but anyway, glad to have y'all with us tonight. If you noticed, I did post one of Keith's picture for our front page. He's got his swarm traps out, and after I seen that, I was really getting jealous because I haven't got mine even set up yet. So it is the time of year to start getting them out there. So Keith, what's going on with you, brother?
Yeah, it's we've had some nice temps this week. We've been up in the mid 60s. I think we might have bounced off of 70 today. It's back in the 60s tomorrow. Then the bottom drops out for 3 days. Then it warms back up in the 60s again. But the bees have been very busy bringing in lots of pollen, like you said, from somewhere. I don't know where they're getting it. The maples around here hadn't popped. I hadn't seen any purple fields of dead nettle and henbit, but they're bringing in something. It's a light colored, light yellow, but they're wide open. I've got pollen patties on all the hives. I've been doing a little open feeding, plus that pollen coming in, so they should be waking up a bit. We'll see. I was looking at some of my videos from last year. That's a nice little archive. If you forget what you were doing, you can always go back and look at your videos to figure out what you were doing last year. And I think March the 10th, I rotated my boxes and put supers on.
Wow.
But then I went back and checked March the 25th, I believe, and that empty box I rotated to the top was plumb full of brood. So I'm not sure we'll be there by March 25th of this year, but who knows? They can build up quick if the temperature will and the resources will cooperate. They'll go at it. So we shall see. It's been good to see them flying this week, though. They've been pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I tell you, with this weather, like I mentioned to you earlier, I'd almost liked it to kind of stay a little bit cold. And then because it always seems like for us, we get a little bit of a warm spell, everything blooms out, and the next thing you know, all of our blooms are killed. I know we've lost apple trees and our blueberry or our raspberry blossoms last year. So actually lost the locust trees with a frost late. So if we can just get through this little cold and just let the bees get a little here and a little there, and things not bloom out too good, I'd be very happy. So, but it's a little different where Keith's at. They don't have that problem quite as bad.
Yeah, last year we after a few things had bloomed, we dropped down below freezing, but nothing really ever froze. So you know, it's kind of crazy how that works. How you can sometimes you drop below freezing, have a frost, and it kills everything. Sometimes you drop below freezing, you don't have a frost, and everything does okay. So it's kind of Mother Nature is she can be a little finicky at times. You never really know. But yeah, last year everything worked out really good. We didn't lose anything to the frost. So we rolled right into spring and kept getting it. But who knows? We'll see how it plays out. Like you said, I got my swarm boxes up this week. I'll have I did a short setting up a swarm box. I've got a video coming. I think it goes live Saturday, I believe. Shows where I put all my traps. I put out 7. So I put them in spots. Most all of them have caught swarms before in the spots that I put them. Really didn't put any in a spot that hasn't had one before. So I'm bad about that.
Yeah, so go with us through the process of what you add to your swarm trap, Keith. You putting a little bit of comb in there, you putting a little swarm commander in there. What's your setup? What's your ideal setup you think works the best for you?
Probably the most consistent. I run all mediums, so I'll take and attach a medium box to a deep box, and of course put the frames in the top, so that whole bottom is just empty space.
Yeah, I love that.
So then I'll have a 10-frame box. I'll put 5 frames of old dark comb, and then most of the time I'll just put fillers on the sides, empty frames without any foundation. Just whatever I've got laying around, I'll finish out the 3 on one side and 2 on the other side. And sometimes the bees, obviously the queen will go right for the middle and start laying, but they'll start drawing comb out in those empty frames.
Oh yeah.
So, but they really, and then like you say, I use Swarm Commander or some kind of a lemongrass scent. And I think I mentioned it I don't know if I mentioned it in that short I did, but I think the lure gets the bees to the trap.
I agree.
But I think the goodies that you've got in the swarm box is what gets them to stay.
Yeah.
I think the lure just gets them to the neighborhood. But yeah, that's kind of my favorite setup. I'll just put one squirt on the inside, 3 squirts on the outside. Don't overdo that stuff. You'll chase the bees away instead of catching them if you use too much of it. If you can smell it, it's knocking their heads off. So, because they can smell a whole lot better than we can. And all of my boxes are pretty much just where I can walk up to them and get them. The highest one is the one you showed in that thumbnail on top of the Johnny house. That one. I can put it up without a ladder, but if it's full of bees, I'll have to get a ladder to get it down. But
is that the trap that catches the most? Is that right?
It caught the biggest one last year.
Okay,
it didn't catch the most, but it caught the whopper. So yeah, that one it was a nice one, and it's still doing good now. So the bees that came out of it. So
how many of those traps do you think you're catching your own bees versus maybe somebody else's bees? What would you say?
It's hard to say. Probably 3 years ago, I would have said 90% of the swarms I caught were mine. But since then, that was, when I was catching all those swarms, every day I went up to the shop. All of my bees are right here on my property. So, I could hear the swarms that came out of the boxes down at the shop, where that's usually where I'm hanging out at. And I visit up at the little farmhouse, my hives I call the nursery. So I pretty much stay on top of them every day during swarm season. And back when I was having all those swarms, man, I was seeing them. I was seeing them coming out of the boxes. I was hearing them coming out, every day. I call it the swarm du jour, the swarm of the day. I had my little wagon loaded up with all my swarm supplies, boxes, everything I needed to catch a swarm or to go chase one. But since I really started working hard to not swarm, I haven't had that. I really didn't. Gosh, last year I don't guess I caught a single one of my hives swarming. Now that's not to say that they didn't swarm, because I'm not there 24/7.
Right.
But I sure didn't see one swarm. So I'm sure part of them probably were mine. I'm not gonna say they wasn't. Because one thing's funny about a swarm, after you can see the bees coming out of a hive and know which hive swarmed. And once the swarm's over with, that hive looks normal. You go over and look at that hive, and it's like nothing ever happened. You pop the top open, and it's got a lot of bees in it. So it's really, and they're flying just like, we didn't do it. It wasn't us. I know it was you. I saw them coming out. So let's see.
Yeah. Do you ever do the dim array? That's what Brian there does. And then Roy's got a question for you here also.
Yeah, I saw Roy's about the bears. Roy, we don't really have bears around here. They pass through every now and then, but they're not here all the time. So thankfully, that's one problem I don't have to deal with. I know Ricky's probably got some in his neighborhood.
Oh yeah,
it's funny. They're in the mountains, and they're down east of us, and really they're west of us up in Wilkes County, just one county over in Surrey, north of us. But for whatever reason, we just don't have an issue. So I don't have to mess with that. As far as the dimmery, I've never done that. I've got my way of doing what I do, and it works well for me. So I'm anxious to see. I know several folks, including Brian, are going to be doing that this year. Yeah. I'll be curious to see how that works for them, how much work it is, and does the amount of work pay for itself. Yep. So looking forward to that, Brian.
I usually just set up maybe 1 or 2 traps here at the house, and I don't really worry about catching many swarms on my own property. And I usually get a lot of telephone calls, and you probably do too, Keith, is to go out and get swarms, or or they're in a tree or in a house. So I usually pick up most of my swarms that way. I'm sure most of my the bees kind of, if they don't hit my traps, they're going somewhere else. So
yeah. And in that video Saturday, I've got a couple of boxes I put right beside my hives, one down at the shop and one up at the nursery. And those boxes get a lot of scouts, but I've never really back when I was having swarm troubles, I really never saw a swarm come out and go to one of those boxes. But it just kind of seems like it makes sense to put those boxes there. They have I've caught some small swarms in those 2 boxes, but never any big ones. So DC over here giving me a hard time.
Yes, he is.
Pulling supers every week.
Yeah, he's pulling supers every week so hard,
Making too much honey. Well, that I'm not worried about the too much honey, DC, but the amount of honey you make is kind of proportional to how much work you want to do. So last year was about all the work I wanted to do. So I'm not going to say I hope I don't make any more, but that was enough. That was enough to keep this old retiree busy.
And Roy's got a point there. He's got a commercial guy dropping bees off in the yard, and he's going to put some traps up close to the yard. And if as a beekeeper, if I don't put no traps up to try to catch my bees and somebody else does, so be it. They're free
Yeah.
bees. They're going to go wherever they want to. I have never had a problem with somebody putting traps up around me. Actually, I get tickled because I want to see if they catch anything. And if they do that, I think that's great. So,
yeah, I mean, if
part of
that's just taking advantage of opportunities. There's a little spot of land west of town, and I don't know the name of the beekeeper that uses it. I don't know if I don't know what it is, but they'll bring, a couple of hundred hives in early in the season. And I don't know if they're doing splits. It's too early to make a honey because they don't have any supers on them. It's just, a lot of times it's just single deeps, but they'll set them there and they'll stay there for a couple, 3 weeks. And, you can go by, and it almost looks like in the summertime when you look out across the pavement, that blurry look that you see across the that's what it looks like across the hives. This is the amount of bees that are flying on top of those hives.
Wow.
And a friend of mine runs a business across the 4-lane from that. I was like, man, if you don't put up some swarm boxes, you're crazy. And he put up 3 or 4, and he caught a bunch of swarms.
I'm sure.
So, they're going somewhere. They might as well go into the box.
Yeah, somebody enjoy them, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah, Randy, if you're talking about me going to up to Tom and Melissa's, I will not be going up there. If you're talking about, are you wax dipping some boxes this weekend? If you are, I probably won't be down for that either. I got surgery coming up on Tuesday. So I've got to get stuff straightened up here before I take it out. I'll still be on the chat. So it's not that big of a deal of a surgery, but it's in and out. So, but if you're wax dipping, let us know so we can let everybody else know.
Just reading the comments over here about the swarms. Philip said she's got to put up a vacancy sign.
Yeah.
Maybe that would help.
Yeah. So what is the biggest swarm you ever caught, Keith? Is it, you looking at maybe something around 5 pounds, or how big was this monster swarm you ever caught?
No, that one last year that was on top of the outhouse, it might have been double that. It was the biggest thing I ever seen. I wasn't expecting that. I knew it was heavy when I got it off the roof, and I took it around to move it over to another box. But when I opened the top of it, what I had brought to put it in, I was woefully unprepared. I had to put the top back on and go back to the shop and get more wood. So it was a house of a swarm. And like I say, I can't say it wasn't one of mine, but if I have lost that many bees, it looks like you would notice, and I didn't see it. I've got there's another beekeeper across the creek from me that has he's a commercial guy, has a lot more hives than I do. So I don't know if they came from that direction. I have no idea. There wasn't any marked queens or anything in there, but yeah. How about you? What's the biggest you've seen?
I haven't really caught a real big one. I did catch one that had 5 queens in it.
Wow.
That was pretty interesting. And 4 probably virgins and 1, main queen, I guess you might say. And it's pretty interesting putting each clip up on top of the box and watching the bees and then pick which one they really like. I mean, it's amazing. Some of those queens, they didn't even care about. So
yeah,
that's pretty amazing. But it happened out in my bee yard, coming out of one of the horizontals. And, it's like trout fishing. You catch a big old fish and your heart's just thumping out of your chest. And all I can think is, I got to get up in that tree and I got to get them bees out. They're going to get away from me. And so it's just so much fun catching swarms. It's a different experience, part of beekeeping that I find very enjoyable, as long as they're not my bees, because I always feel like they're my bees are going to get away. So,
well, even if they're my bees, it's still fun catching them, but it's more of a sense of urgency because that's little dollar bills flying around. But You lose a few though. I've seen them. I've told the story before a year or two ago. I'd had so big a mess. It might have been 3 years ago now. I'd had so many swarms. I was out of wood. I had another swarm. I was in the shop actually building a box, and I heard the train crank or the airplane crank back up again, and the swarm that was up in the tree just here they went. They just flew over the woods and out of sight. Somebody over in the comments was talking about they couldn't believe that I have an outhouse. Who was that? Was that Roy?
Yeah, I think that was Roy asking about you having an outhouse.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
That's the old outhouse that's up at my great aunt and uncle's old farmhouse. They never had electricity till the mid 80s. And once they got electricity, Daddy had a well punched for him, so they didn't have to use the windlass anymore and pull the bucket up. But so Aunt Bertha had running water in the kitchen, but they never did have indoor plumbing for the restroom. So all they ever had was the outhouse. And I've made a couple of shorts on that outhouse. It's a 2-seater, so it's pretty fancy. But it hadn't been used in many years. So, but the bees like it. So.
And some maybe track some in there. Maybe it's the smell. I don't know. But anyway.
Well, ain't no smell there no more. So I don't know. Yeah. Good location.
Yeah. So I did post in the comments that Randy did say that he's in Asheville, by the way. He's doing some wax dip boxes. I know Brother Larry here went down and got some, actually come up and got some wax dip boxes. And I came down and he was very grateful. They actually paid for me to get my boxes waxed. And Larry, I do appreciate you doing that, brother. If you don't already know, Larry has a channel on Sunday mornings. It comes on right before I go to church. It's a great time to get you motivated and get ready to go to church. So great little channel that he puts on Sunday mornings. But Larry, you got into any swarms? What's the bees doing down in your area?
Well, we're hoping they're not swarming just yet. We actually went in about 16 of ours today and did a deep dive into them. I told Jan, I said, I need to get on there for a little bit because I got a bone to pick with Keith anyway. She said, what's Keith done? I said, well, I said, I feel like we've been, I know we're, for several reasons, we've been way behind this year. I'm getting ready. So the bees are going to be ready way before we are. And so, you always feel like you're behind, but I really have been behind this year. And so I finally sat down and made me a list. I said, so I took me a few days off around the house. I said, I'm going to get some of this list knocked out. Some things I got to get done and getting equipment ready. I got stuff I need to build, and I don't have a place to walk in my wood shop and build anything if I had time to build it. And so I got started on my list this week, and I checked a couple of things off. Then Keith comes along and starts putting videos on there about putting swarm traps up. Now I got them swarm traps sitting out there, and some of them I'm still walking around. And I said, I got to hurry and get this list done because I need to get them swarm traps up. So now you got my head all messed up, get ready to get swarm traps up. But yeah, we went in some of them today and checked them out because back in the fall, it was unusual for us, but we had a lot of queens shut down kind of late in the fall, which they don't normally do around here, but they did. So they wouldn't have a brood in there with anything in it. And so we went in several of them, and I couldn't find a queen in it, and there wasn't any evidence to say if there was a queen. So, and it was too late to do anything about it at that point. So we just shut them up and started taking care of them just like they had a queen through the winter. So we've been in 16 of them today, and all of them are queen right, and all of them's got brood.
Wow!
So, and some of them got some drones. Saw just a little bit of, not much. I saw a little bit of cap drone, but we did have eggs and larvae, and some of the drones said not all of them had drones, but we tried to make sure they all had a green drone frame in because they're trying.
Wow, that sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds like really good for you guys. Looks like you are really booming down there. So.
We were excited to find out if all those were queen right. So we still got the rest of them, a few more to go back through tomorrow. And so far, so good. All of them's looking good on the outside anyway. And so you can't always tell until you get in there.
Yeah. So obviously you got a lot of pollen coming in then.
We do. I put a little short on there the other night we were on, but that's when the YouTube was out. So I don't think I've got like 30 something views on that thing. And, because the whole thing was shut down. But we went up right here close to the house, and there was one. We caught it up in the edge of the woods, and it's up a hill. We want to move it this spring because it's just hard to get to. And we've just left it there, and it's in the shade. It's had about everything against it can have, and it just plugs along. And I was up there checking fondant on it. We put some of Matt's fondant on it. We was going back checking them, and I went up to check it, and I got looking at the entrance. I glanced around, and it was just like a pollen parade. And it looks like red maple. It's that old kind of greenish gray.
Yep.
Looking, and like every 2 out of every 3 coming in was just loaded up both sides with pollen. And so, yeah, we got in there, and they got a ton of pollen on the inside. And they're bringing in nectar too. Some of them had several frames up in there. We run a deep and a medium. Everything we got's got a deep and a medium on it through the winter. And some of them still got some good stores, but some of them that hadn't, the bigger ones that had eaten a lot of their honey, they filled up several frames already.
Wow.
Nice.
With nectar. So they're on it. They're ahead of me for sure.
That sounds good. Yeah, you're way ahead of where I'm at. Well, who knows what's in there now? When did I look? A week ago, week and a half? Very, very, very little brood. A lot of bees hadn't brought much pollen in at that point. Now, since that time, they've been bringing in a lot of pollen. So maybe that got the queens woke up, and there might be some more brood in there now. I don't know. I was going to give them another week or so before I take another peep. But yeah. Now, we've got a cold spell coming up. I guess y'all probably got it too. I think it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Then warms back up again. So
I was surprised though with all the cold we've had with the ice storm and the snowstorm.
Yeah,
we haven't been that warm very long now. When it leveled off and cranked back up last week, I think I did put a little bit of thin sugar water out and some open feed, and we put about 4 gallons and near each one of the areas we got them at, and kind of get them woke up. But yeah, they've been going longer. There's a lot of cap brood in some of them. There's probably most of them. Well, most of them don't have sheets of brood, but some of them had because they had a lot of honey still, packed around those frames.
Right.
But I guess we probably average 3 frames of brood and overall.
Wow.
So about
Good
2
deal.
to 4.
When they roll, they can roll quick. It's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you had snow and ice pretty much like we did up here. Same time.
Yeah, we got about 5 inches of snow.
Yeah. So yeah, the snow must have been covering up some blooms down there.
Yeah,
When
we
it melted off.
a little bit of henbit. We got some dandelions coming out, and like I said, the red maples just really popped.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't sure what it was going to do with that cold, but ours, Hope Sadler over in Rock Hill, he had red maple blooming back before the ice ever came.
Yeah.
And we went by there. We picked up that Defender hive at Nobby and carried to him, and he said that cold got just about every bloom on his tree.
Wow.
But ours had budded, but they hadn't opened up yet. So we got a lot of them in the area around here that just really popped in the last couple of weeks.
Good deal. Yeah, we're getting close here. You can, when you look out across the woods, you can see the red stems on the ends of the limbs. Things start changing color. The woods aren't just brown anymore.
Yeah, get a little red tint to them. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting close. And there's Philip again working.
Always working.
Always working.
Do you not have enough equipment, Philip? I mean, I feel sorry for you. You're always working, and what's up, buddy? You sell this stuff? You selling bees? What's going on, brother?
No, I don't sell it. I try to make too much myself. If you want to send me some equipment, I can stop and just talk to you. Can you hear me okay from way over here?
You're coming in and out just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to stop work and come talk to us, I guess.
Well,
You make me feel guilty every time you come on.
Hang on, let me check something real quick. Probably gonna freeze up for a second.
Yep. If you noticed, Brian actually just mentioned that he's landing. I think he's headed up there to the conference in about 12 minutes. So looks like he's completely froze up. Larry, for people in the chat that maybe don't know you, let know exactly where you're located at, so they know. Like for me, knowing where you're at lets me know that the warm air is kind of headed my way.
Yeah, we're close to the North Carolina line in South Carolina. We're about mid-state, and we're a lot of people are familiar with Charlotte because of the big airport. We're about 40 miles south of Charlotte.
Okay.
Because we're about 10 miles into South Carolina, so we're real close to the North Carolina border. But we're about center of the state. I know a lot of people are familiar with Bob Walker. We're about just a little over an hour north of Bob.
All right.
And Hope Sadler, he's over in Rock Hill. He's only about 35 minutes from us. But both of us are real close to the North Carolina border. I think we're about 2 hours south of Keith, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. It says driving wise, a little bit over 2 hours. So not too awfully far.
Yeah, you're talking about swarms. Every year I say, well, I don't think we're going to put out as many swarm traps this year. We're going to, and somehow every year it seems like we got more. We usually put our swarms in one location, kind of by themselves, and we just call it our swarm yard. We got 7 down there now that we got last year, and some, of course, some of them were smaller, and some of them we combined with other things. But those 7 down there, they're especially 2 of them are really, really rocking and rolling. So we've been kind of looking. I heard you mention something about the dim arrays. We do run dim arrays on ours. Last few years we've tried them. So we've been kind of picking out who looks like they're going to be a good candidate. So 2 out of that swarm yard already looks like they're going to definitely, instead of splitting, into making another hive out of it, I don't really want any more than what we got. That's about all I can keep up with. And so that's a good way to, instead of splitting, you just put that deep box up on top and give them plenty of room, throw a couple of supers in the middle. And so it's just like splitting them there, but using the same queen. It's worked well for us. We made more honey last year than we've made in quite a while. So we're going to try it again this year. We don't run all of them that way, but the real strong ones, like I said, they're really going to need some room. Mm-hmm. They got ahead of us last year. We usually do pretty good. We don't usually have many swarms of our own, but last year it's like no matter what we did, we go in there, you find a queen cell just starting, and you think, well, we had to go ahead and pull them up, make a dim array out of them, and couldn't talk them out of it. Eventually, they swarm anyway. We had more swarms last year of our own than we've ever had.
Yeah, once they start making sales, and especially if they ever cap one, it's over.
Yeah,
like you say, they got their minds made up, and no matter what you do, they're going to swarm.
Yeah. So we had 2 side by side sitting in our bee yard. Matter of fact, we had a wedding to go to. We were actually helping serve the food for it. We were getting ready for that, and we'll go down to the bee yard, and of course there's a swarm up in the tree, and it's one of ours.
Yeah.
And so I get a ladder and a box and stick up there, and I go back. And so anyway, the two of them sitting side by side, both of them pretty good sized hives, and within 2 days, both of them swarmed, but both of them were right there close by. We caught both of them and got them in a box. So I took the queen out of one and put it over in the other one, took the queen out of that one. I just swapped them. They were neighbors anyway, right side by side. So we put the swarm, we just reversed them and put them back into other boxes. And they did pretty well for a while. One of them still wanted to swarm again, so she wound up back on the barn again. So you don't ever know what they're going to do.
No. Now, on your dim arrays, how often are you having to get into them?
You have to get in them every week. That's the thing about it. If you can't give them over 7 days. Now, some people run double queen excluders. They put one at the top. Now we never have, but if you let it go too long, then if they make a queen up top, that's where that queen excluder comes in handy. But as long as you go in them every week like you're supposed to, I hadn't seen a need for it. We run an upper entrance, and so the bees go in and out and make honey in those supers, pretty good that way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you have to be in them about every 7 days though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the way I do it, I don't do a dim array, but I'd have to get in and I have to get into them. Lord, I probably have to do more than every 7 days, probably every 5 days, because they'll build cells so quick. Because I go in and separate brood a lot. Anytime I see two frames of brood together, I'll separate them and drop a drawn comb between them, and just do that over and over and over till you get a whole box of brood, and then add another box. But you have to get into them a whole lot during that time of the year to make that work. Because like the dim arrays, I try to get my hives as big as I can without them swarming. Because a big happy strong hive will make you a whole lot of honey.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal right there, Keith, is just keeping the hive strong enough, big enough, but not big enough that they're going to take off on you. That's always the hard part of beekeeping. All right, Philip.
All right,
Tell us
can you
what's
hear me
going
better
on,
now?
brother. Yeah, tell us what's going on. We see you got done shooting them nails there.
Yeah, I'm just putting together frames. That's all I'm doing. My little jig over here. I don't know if you guys can see it or not from where you are. But that's all I'm doing is putting together some frames. I went through my bees the other day too. Well, the ones out of Crossroads. But I don't know about you, Pastor Larry, but I think I was only spending about 15 minutes in each hive, but it still took me like 6 hours to go through them.
You think it was not going to take long, but it always takes longer than you think.
I'm beat. I came home and just I lost my sidekick because he got a real job. So, I have to haul everything to the truck and haul everything out and stack everything. And can't send him to go get something. That's a tough life, But,
it's definitely nice having somebody to help you in the bee yard and going and getting stuff, or I'll be the go-getter. I don't care. I'll let Ruth get in there, all the time. Well, I used to all the time before she got allergic to them. But ain't nothing like having a helper, especially ones that'll build frames for you there, Philip. That would be nice too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he built the first 40, I think. Frames, and I'm trying to build another 50, but yeah, it is nice. But yeah, since he started working 8 hours a day, I haven't gotten anything out of it. He was off today, but he worked on his motorcycle, get it ready to take to work tomorrow. So
He's going to have to get his priorities straight.
Yeah,
I can't blame him. But no, we're
so
glad go ahead.
Yeah, so you're when you do your frames, you're gluing them, and you stapling straight down on them. Do you ever staples in the side of the dowel? Do you think that's any stronger way of doing it?
Yeah, I put one a little bit off center in the top.
Okay.
And then I come from the side on the other side, so there's two in the top, one of them sideways and one straight down.
Okay.
That's how I do it. But yeah, it makes a big difference. I mean, when I first made frames, I did just two in the top, and a few of them would pull off.
Yep.
So yeah, I believe in that one on the side. It's kind of a pain to do, but you'll see me do it here in a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever popped a top bar off of a frame that I put one in from the side.
Right.
That makes it quite a bit stronger.
Yeah. It's usually
you do have to be careful though, or you'll just shoot it out the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my bees are about like Pastor Larry's. I would say it had some of them had a patch of brood that was like half as big as the frame on segment one, and they got smaller on either side. Like I would say average three to four maybe per colony on average. It hadn't brood on them at all. I was hoping for 4 to 5, but they a little bit later.
Now, Philip, are
How
you
was
seeing
your,
any drone brood down there where you're at?
No, I haven't seen any drone brood. I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you what I did that I was pretty happy with was one of the reasons I wanted to go out and check on them was in the winter I left a medium honey super on top of a deep. That's what I had my winter set up, and was feeding them and all that back in the fall. And so I went and pulled all the honey supers off, and the queen had not moved up into them, which is good because I hate it when she moves up there and I can't take them and get them cleaned up for honey production. So I was able to get all my mediums off, and I put a deep on top. And a couple of times, if they had a good bit of brood, I pulled up a couple of frames of brood and just put a deep on top with empty frames. And I also checkerboarded some empty frames in the bottom, basically kind of mixed it all up. So now they're set up. And then I fed them a gallon of one half to 1 sugar water to help them draw all that up. So hopefully I'll have enough to make flip with in about a month. Everything goes good.
so how was your winter this year, Philip? Pretty normal?
Yeah, we had that. We had our 1 week winter, just like usual, where it was really cold and snowing and sleeting and all that stuff. But we're going to be cold, I think, on Sunday. I think it's Saturday or Sunday. We're going to get down to 34. I think is going to be the low, and then it's going to stay down for about 3 days. The highs in the 50s and lows in the mid to upper 30s, and then on Wednesday it's going to shoot back up to 80 again each day. I need to go down to the farm and do the same thing I did at Crossroads. That's why I'm trying to get these frames ready. But this weekend it's going to really be too cold to be messing with them much. So I may just wait and do like I did this week. I took a day off and went out on Wednesdays when I guess it was yesterday. Yeah, was when I went out and spent the whole day out at Crossroads, which is north of here a little bit. So,
Do you ever use one of these ice vests, Philip, down there where you're at? I know you and Larry you might dabble, think about it at least, but I don't really have to deal with that up here.
I absolutely could use one. I've never used one, but yeah, it would be good, especially for an hour or two. That would keep you cool. So
Yeah.
When it gets real hot, like over in August, I mean, they say don't get on too early in the morning. Shoot, if I get into them, it's gonna be at 8 in the morning because you wait past 10 or 11 o'clock, it's just unbearable to be out there. But no, if I had one, I'd wear it. I haven't had one.
What about you, Pastor Larry? You ever thought about wearing an ice vest or something to keep yourself a little cool down there in South Carolina?
I've never worn one, but I have thought about it. I'm thinking more and more. I hear people talking about them. It's got my interest up anyway. I might check into that. The humidity gets something terrible down here.
Oh,
I mean, it's tough out there in a bee suit when that summer hits. And like I said, and you like he said, when they rolling, you got to stay in them to keep them out the trees, and whether you want to or not. But yeah, I felt serious about looking into it. I've never done it, but on the other end of that, I was looking at my weather just now when he mentioned that. Sunday night we're supposed to get down to 27. Monday night says 23. Just when we think spring is sprung, February shows back up.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully it don't it don't kill too many things that we need, but ain't a whole lot we can do about it. So, but Philip was talking about during the hot part of the summer, getting out in the hives early. But that humidity, man, that's I can't decide which is worse. If I get out in the hives, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm wet from head to toe because the humidity is like 100%. And though it ain't but 65 or 70 degrees, the humidity wears you out. Where if you wait on up till about 1 o'clock, the humidity drops, but then it's 95 degrees. So you're still wet from head to toe. So I don't know which one's worse.
We need to quit talking about this. I'm enjoying this spring weather. 70 to 80. You guys are already getting into the hundreds. I need to be in denial for a little bit longer. But my plan to keep them from swarming. Now, this is the plan. I don't know if I'll have time because it does take a while. Is I want to go back through mine, find the queen, move her to the top, put in a double springboard, flip it around, and just a minimal amount of brood with her, and let the bottom make a new queen. And then after that new queen starts laying, this queen ought to be laid up a good bit at the top. Then I'm going to take her out with a couple of frames and make a little resource hive or split with her, and let all those bees come back and make honey in that original hive. So that's just a plan. That finding that queen in 2 deep boxes can be quite a chore. You have a lot of time to go through.
Yeah, I'm not real good at finding queens, but it's something I don't do a whole lot. So,
I saw a few when I was just trying to check for brood. I saw a few. I didn't see. I can't say I saw every one.
yeah, about the only time I really look for a queen is if I'm trying to put some frames in my observation hive to take to some kind of presentation or something. It's nice to get the queen in that top one where the kids can see her. But other than that, if I got eggs and larvae, queen can stay. She can stay hid. I don't need to see her.
I'd say about half of my queens were not marked that I saw, which probably means they might have superseded late last year. Which, if I knew they superseded late last year, I wouldn't be trying to get a new queen. But I'm just going to assume that they're all at least a year old and see what happens. Now, if I open it up and when I recombine them, I'm hoping it's at the end of the swarm season. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So if I do have to install that or leave that old queen in there, it won't affect anything. Hopefully, like I said, it's just a plan. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Lisa said she'd trade some snow during July and August. So, now, Lisa, am I right? Are you opening a little store down there at your place? I will say, Grammy's stuff. Man, we got some stuff at the conference, and my mom and dad absolutely loved it. We should have bought more stuff. I think my wife would have if we'd stayed at her booth any longer. We did bring home a bunch of stuff from her booth, but
yeah, I was a little confused by that too. Lisa needs to come on and tell us about her store and where it is. Did you put a building out by our house, or in town? Come on in and tell us about your store. Be good for business.
She definitely can can some food. I'll tell you that. It's delicious.
She's got all kind of great. I bought some soaps from her too.
Larry, did you go by her booth and try anything?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm kind of like you. I wish I'd bought more. We got some of those jams and marmalade, and matter of fact, I was the day it snowed. I was out there doing a little something to the chicken pen early that morning that I should have done when it was pretty. And my son called. He stays right through the woods back on the family land back there, and he sent a message to Jan's phone and said, "Would y'all mind if I bring you a hot biscuit? Said I got some coming out in about 15 minutes." I said, "Ask him what's he waiting on." So I think he was just looking for a reason to get on the 4-wheeler and come through the woods, but nevertheless, he showed up with some hot biscuits in a little while. So as soon as we got through outside and it just started snowing, I came in and I said, "I know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go find that bag that's got Grammy's goodies in it." And so we broke some of that out and put on a hot biscuit.
Did you get
some good stuff.
Did you get my I think it's like a cherry amaretto or whatever she's famous for?
Yep. I had that on a hot biscuit.
Yeah, I bet she sold it to you. She put one. Deidre put a jar back for me, and when I came back, they had sold it to somebody. I've been after Lisa for a while on that. She said she was going to mail me some. I said, it's a lot more fun just to make fun of you.
So she's going to open a beekeeping supply store, but she's going to keep the soaps and stuff separate from that. So she's got all kinds of irons in the fire.
She does. And I tell you what, it's hot down there where she's at. Gosh, and that humidity.
She said it was 81 today. Lord. That's pretty toasty.
Yeah, no doubt.
This time of year.
Phil, did you see my comment in there earlier?
Saw a comment where you said that Miss Leona got those posters that I gave her.
Yeah, they came in the mail this week, and she was tickled. She was tickled to death. She said she really appreciated Tim and Hannah and Philip thinking about her, and
you know,
she loved them.
What's funny about that, I was kind of just getting onto that program, and there was a giveaway, and I thought it was probably kosher, but I wasn't 100% sure. But I just filled out whatever the hashtag was, and lo and behold, I won it. And then I just got to thinking, for some reason Miss Leona came across my mind. I'm like, now she's always watching, but she's never logged in and able to win anything. So I just decided to go ahead and give it to her because she deserves it. So that was kind of fun. That just popped in my head, and I just decided to do it.
Well, she appreciated it.
Good deal. If I ever get out to see y'all, I'll have to take a look at it.
She's sitting in another room. I heard her say she's waving at you, Philip.
Yeah, I did hear.
Hey, at worst cases, I'll see her at the Nobby next year.
All right.
We all got to get over there. Get
Yeah, we're working on trying to get her there.
She'd be an all-star. She sit over in the Roosters booth, and my goodness, everybody'd be stopping by to talk to her.
Oh, my God.
There you go. He had a great place to hang out.
Yes, he did.
I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, Ricky, so I can drive these nails.
All right. I seen, was it Jack and Dayton said something about they had 6 inches of snow last night, and you got Gary saying it's going to be 60 plus tomorrow. And, you know, it's amazing how the temperatures are different in different locations.
Yeah, we were 77 today. I think we'll be 77 tomorrow. Then I look on here, and first of the week, we're going to be down in the 20s again. So I think Monday's supposed to be a high of 44. I can't get used to it. I know the bees can't.
It's got to be hard on them going back and forth. And, you know, I think we lose more bees this time of year than any time normal because, like, your bees got some brood, you know, and they don't want to come off that brood if it was to turn off bad for about 2 weeks. So you've done the right thing by putting the fondant on them. That'll definitely give them an extra boost.
Yeah, we had some of them that were up in that medium, and that deep box under them was pretty much empty. They had been moved up, and that's where she was laying at, was up there in that medium. And some of them was opposite. Some of them still had a lot of stores up in the medium, and she was laying down in the bottom. So they ain't following no pattern. That's whatever they want to do.
They don't seem to read books, you know. I don't know why. They're so smart, you know.
They don't read the same one I read.
No.
I tell Jen, I said, we need to bring that chapter down here and lay it out on the stump so they can read it before we come back next time, because they sure didn't read what I read.
Yeah. But now the location is definitely key, you know. All you folks in the north versus people in the south.
Larry, y'all probably aren't far from a place down there called Clover, South Carolina. You know where that is?
Yeah, it's on the other side of Rock Hill. It's probably about an hour from here.
Okay. I was talking to a lady down there that does honey straws. Was thinking about sending her some honey and let her make me some straws for the market this year.
Yeah, we're not too far from there. We get
I
over
think
that
she
way
said it
every
was-
once in a while.
Let's see, what did she say? 10 minutes south of Charlotte. Does that sound right? So that's
Yeah.
just right across the line then.
It is.
Okay.
I said it's just kind of parallel with us because if I go from my house to the closest place, North Carolina line, it's probably less than 10 miles for us. And I said Rock Hill's about the same. It's right there at the line.
Okay.
And so Clover's just another jump over, York and Clover. We run through there chasing marketplace deals sometimes over that way. Yeah, it's a little over an hour, I think, for us.
Okay.
Was that close to Hope here, Larry?
Yeah, Hope's, like I said, he's probably about 35 minutes from here. And then Clover's probably about another 30 minutes on the other side of that for us.
Okay.
He's about halfway in between us and where Clover is,
Okay.
just south of the border.
South of the border.
Mm-mm-mm.
And Larimore, he's about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours east of us. I've been amazed sometimes at how different our weather is or our stage of the bees, being, like I said, he's not that, I don't know that we're not exactly parallel. He might be a little bit southeast, but our church has a conference down there in the city that's not far from where he stays. So we're familiar with that area. We go down a lot, but watching him a lot of times, he'll be ahead of us. It's amazing how much different we are being that close together right here in the state.
How many more colonies do you have this year, Larry, versus last year?
We didn't increase too much. We didn't actually really intend. Last year we came out of winter with 20, and this year we're coming out with 27. We went in with 29, coming out with 27.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're going to be working really hard. You'll be like Keith, and every time I go down and see Keith, he doesn't lie. His shirt's soaked. Every time I see him, his shirt's soaked down there. So,
yeah, that weather is tough, and especially when you get to honey time. I mean, you only got one time to do it. It's time to do it. You just got to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just flat hot. I don't care what you do. It's just flat
Yeah.
hot.
And like we said, you look around and there ain't nobody. You're it.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
Now, see, I'm not good as Bruce. I don't have anybody show up when I get ready to start flying.
Yeah. What is it with Bruce? He's got a big party down there this weekend, having a splitting party.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa
Maybe we
comes
need to
up.
have him do a class.
Like the Pied Piper.
Everybody comes helps him do honey. I think people are more likely to go see him now that his bees aren't like killer bees and they don't attack you when you're trying to get out of the vehicle. So
Yeah, he had a little bit of a reputation there for a while.
yes, he did.
He's apparently worked his way through that.
Yeah. I will say the day I went down to visit him and seen Lisa down there, that he told me, he said, "Hey man, before you get out of your car, you need to put your bee suit on." I'm like, "I'll probably okay." Sure enough, since I got out, I was having one. She was all over me, ready to eat me up. So I jumped back in the vehicle and put my suit on. So, and then he showed me some colonies that Greg had seen him with some queens and how calm they were. And then he'd show me the colony right next to him, and they'd just be on fire.
Yeah. I think he's got a bunch of queens coming out of Hawaii.
Yeah.
what they're going to be splitting with this weekend. So, yeah, I'm sure the Hawaiian queens probably work great for him. I'm not sure how those warm weather queens would work in the colder temps.
Yeah.
Bees in the beard.
Yep. There ain't nothing more like one trying to dig in on your beard or in your hair, and you know it's there, and that stinger is trying to get you, and you're like, oh, I got to get this thing out. I know that
You can
stinger's
hear it,
coming.
but you can't find it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's fun right now, though. The bees, we're getting into that time of the year where they could really care less about you. You know, we're just in the way. It's like I was up, like Larry, I'm doing some open feeding, and you know, the bees are just all over that, and there's a whole cloud of bees around, and you just walk out in the middle of it and move it around or do whatever you want to do, and they're just bouncing off of you. You're just in the way. They could care less.
Yep.
You get out of there and you got them all over your shirt, but they're just walking around. But then come August, it don't work that way.
It's a whole different ballgame in August.
Yeah, talking about stings, I listened to a program called Bee Love or something. This lady was all about you need to take at least, she said like 100 a year or something.
True.
So you don't develop an allergy. So I decided, okay, I'm going to start barehanded and take at least 5 stings before I put my gloves on. So I got over to the hive that I knew was going to get me to that goal. And I took my 5th one. I said, this is not too bad. I may take a couple more. We'll see. Well, then all of a sudden I got like 6 and 7, just like that. And let me do that 6, 7, right? So I was like, okay, it's time to put my gloves on. Well, I reached in my pocket, and then all of a sudden they're all over me. I mean, I got up to like 10, 12 before I had to walk away.
You're going to have to lead them a little bit.
So, yeah, I still got a little bit of the boxing glove hand right here. So I'm working bees, and I just wear the neoprene gloves, which I think I took 1 sting through those. It's rare that they go through them, even though they can. But all of a sudden, I felt one hit me in the forearm, and I thought, okay, it had to somehow get inside my jacket, right? But I looked down, and that bee was on my arm on the outside, stinging through a 3-layer jacket. And I was like, man. But let me see if I can get it on the camera. It's still red. It's all get out. Let's see, right there. But when I got home, it looked like I had a baseball in my arm. And it looked like I got. Well, you get a good one when they leave that little pimple on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got a good one there. I got one on the side of my hand that was pretty good too. That's left that little pimple. Those are good ones. But, yeah, that one on my arm, it hurt, and I think the stinger was down inside my suit. I couldn't even pull the stinger out because it was underneath.
Yeah, that's what gets you. If you can't get to that stinger, she'll just pump you full.
I looked at that bee and I was like, my gosh, how did you do that? I'm glad they're not all that good.
She was on a mission.
And that jacket, it's an old Hives for Heroes jacket that I bought 2 years ago. And Noah usually wears it. And it's got a whole bunch of tears in the sleeve. And I thought, sure, she at least got on it where there was a tear. Like, nope, she was no tear, 3 layers. She got all the way through it. But I'm glad they don't do that.
Somebody's got a comment for you there, Phil.
What's it say there? You have to tell me because this phone is so tiny.
Did you video it?
No.
We need to review the footage.
I should. I haven't been very good about making videos. But,
Well, you're going to have to show us, do it again and get it on video is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'll usually start out without gloves. I tell people I'll let the bees decide if I need gloves or not.
Yeah.
And if I know I'm going to be going through all the hives and I need to make good time and roll, I'll put my gloves on. But just normally, I'll try to do it without gloves. And sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. If I get popped 3 or 4 times, I'm gonna put my gloves on.
I got into a couple where, like, you know, I opened them up and I went to smoke them. I'm like, well, let's just wait and maybe not smoke them right now. And one of them, heck, they never did bother me. I was like, yeah, I might breathe for me. Uh-oh, I'm walking in the dark. I might hear a big thud and me hitting the ground in just a second. Gonna step off this deck.
Yeah. Gary says those winter bees didn't recognize you, Philip. That's what it was.
Yep. Yeah, I've got all different kinds. I've got some that are mean, some of them that are nice, some of them that are in between.
Pastor Larry, how many stings have you got already this year?
Oh, not up before today. I'd only had a couple that I ran into when I was feeding, but I got a few in the fingers and hands. I wear nitrile gloves usually, and which I like doing. I mean, they can sting through them. They just usually don't. But I forgot. Usually I carry me a wet rag to kind of keep my hands wiped off. Especially right now, everything's so stuck together, and you have to pull so hard to get everything, and you know, wind up getting hands sticky and honey on it and all kinds of things. And but they were loving my hands pretty good. So I probably got about 6 or 7 today. But normally not too bad. Like I said, the more I take my time, the better it is. But if you don't get your mind, if you get your mind over to the next project you go into, they'll remind you.
Yep.
But they don't usually do too bad with nitrile. I just can't. I tried the regular beekeeping gloves and those things. I can't do anything. I got big hands anyway. Those things I felt like no, they wasn't for me. But yeah, I like the nitrile. Like I said, I can still feel everything good. And like I said, they can sting through them. They don't do it as a habit.
There's also a question for you there.
I just didn't wear gloves.
We had a little bit of drone. We just went at them today, and they. I was telling them earlier, we had a little bit of. Not all of them had laid any drones, but there was only I had made the statement. I said I hadn't seen any cap drones, and the very next one opened up, there were some cap drone cells, of course. Most of them were eggs and larvae. They're just now starting to put them in, but we did see just a few. I mean, it was. Like I said, not a lot, and maybe 2 hives that had a little bit of cap in it. I'd only say like maybe a couple dozen, nothing big. So they're just now starting.
Yeah, I didn't see any drones when I was messing with mine. Well, I say that one of the queens, I saw the queen. I was like, well, why didn't she have any brood? Then I started looking. I said, well, there's some milk brood, and I got over a couple frames and I looked and saw some cap brood. But it was all bullet shaped. So I'm thinking, yep, I think she's gone drone layer on me. So I just marked the lid, closed it up, and I'll check next time I go in there. I'll combine her with somebody else. But that'll be the only drones I have that I know of because everybody else hadn't gotten to drones yet.
I've seen Matt made a comment on here. We've been talking about you, Matt, about your patties that you made.
Yeah.
They are definitely helping out.
Yeah, I'd put a pound of Matt's patties on those the last time I was out there. It's probably been 3 or 4 weeks, but they were all except the one colony that looked like, well, I can't even say anything was wrong with the patties because I had syrup over the hole in the patty. They had to crawl out and crawl onto the patty. They were the only ones that didn't eat theirs. Everybody else ate every bit of it. One of them that was strong was actually drawing comb on that patty. And the drawn comb was it kind of looked like that yellow color that the patties are. It was just one that I noticed it, but yeah, they were the significant amount of white, what I'd call white wax off of that patty. and they were a really strong colony.
That's pretty cool to have drones all winter. That's a strong colony to be able to do that. That's awesome.
I think we have a few all winter too. I just didn't notice them. I wouldn't. I was just going through as quick as I could, trying to get that second deep on there and get it. If they didn't have much cap brood or brood at all, I just pulled up like honey frames and mixed them in. But if they looked like they had 4 or more with some brood on them, I pulled up 2. I know that it is not recommended splitting the brood, but I don't listen to what the experts say very often. I do know that if you pull up the brood or drop an empty frame in the brood in the bottom, they'll draw that comb out quick. They don't like that empty space.
That's definitely a way to get you a nice frame waxed up and a brand new frame.
Yeah.
They will definitely draw that out, especially if they've got the feed coming in.
And the other thing that makes me feel less guilty about doing it is I don't use plastic foundation. I use a starter strip and just open frames. So I'm not really splitting them up. There's not like a plastic wall in the middle of the brood. It's open from one. It's just a wider space. But even if I was doing plastic foundation, I'd probably still do it. I'll tell you what I did though. When I pulled the supers off, I ended up with like 2.5 supers of honey or nectar or whatever. Some of it's capped, some of it's not. And I didn't want to create a robbing frenzy by just stacking them out there. So I covered them up and brought them home. But now I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. I'm freezing a few frames at a time, which is all that's fit in my freezer. But I got to store that stuff for like another 2 months. I was going to use it for splits, but I don't know what to do with it now. If anybody has any recommendations. And when I say honey, it's probably some fall, some sugar water that was fed to them, things like that. So it's not honey that you would eat.
Yeah, Matt had that post there about just finished up another 650 pounds of fondant. His fondant's definitely been a hit this year.
No doubt.
He has helped a whole lot of people with his magic fondant.
Yeah, I still got about half of what I got from him, but I don't know if I think I might freeze it and save it until next year. Pastor Larry, our bees were bringing in a good bit of pollen. Were yours?
Yeah, we had a lot of pollen, and all of them we went into. They went in 16 of them today, and all of them had a lot of pollen in. They're coming in steady. Our red maples have really popped around here, and they've been finding little bits of. We got little henbit and dandelions, different things, but that red maple really. Of course, the only problem is when it stops for a while. The rest won't be anything else nectar source coming out, nothing major over until April probably.
Yeah, mine had. I guess you could call it nectar. It wasn't capped, but I suspect it might have been honey that they just watered down and moved over close to the brood, and rather than something they're actually finding out there. Because I think they'll do that. Matter of fact, the people where I keep the bees, they say that on the warm days, the bees are all in their bird bath, getting water. So I think that's what they're doing. I think they're taking that water back, mixing it with honey, and moving it down near the brood, and it just looks like nectar. I don't think there's anything blooming out there for them to get that's producing any, to be honest with you. And it also has kind of a honey color to it. It's not clear like when you get into spring and it really hits, you pick up the comb and it just falls out. Mm-hmm. And it's usually clear.
Yeah, Gary, that wouldn't make me happy either if I got a package that was 75% drones. Golly days.
Yeah, that wouldn't be much good for anything.
Golly.
You got some bees, but they're not going to do nothing for you.
Nope.
One time, and actually recorded in a video, I think I was transferring swarms. Now they had been in the swarm trap for a while and it, made a good bit of brood. But I got over to one of the outside frames and it was covered with walking drones. Covered with, and it didn't look like they had just emerged either. And they were all hanging out over there on one side. When I pulled it up, it was the hottest looking thing. It was completely covered with drones. And they were over there to themselves. It's like, what the heck's going on here? I've only seen it once, but I saw it that day. Now, I've seen, you've seen drone cones where they're all emerging at one time and they'll be everywhere. But these had emerged a while back, I think. It wasn't a brood frame.
So, Keith, you got all your supers drawed out now? You good to go with your supers, or are you still going to draw some this year?
Yeah, I've got. I think I've got about 80 drawn, but I've got 20 boxes with wax foundation in it that I'm going to draw that out. So that'll put me in real good shape. All of that drawn comb I got, all of it's not pretty white comb for the super. Part of it's dark comb that I'll use in my splits and swarms. But yeah, I'm going to try the Cayman's talked about it a couple of times where you put a couple of wax foundation or a couple of plastic foundations in the supers amongst the drawn comb. And he said it works great. They draw it out really quick. So I've never tried that exactly like that before. And so we'll see. We'll see. I'll disperse them 200 frames amongst all the boxes. It'd be nice if they draw them out without having to feed any extra sugar or really do anything extra.
So you're not putting a whole super on a colony. You're just kind of checkerboarding some of those frames in to get them drawn out. Is that what you're shooting for?
Instead of a full checkerboard, it's just like I think you come in 3 frames on each side and drop the foundation in amongst the drawn comb. So you're just putting, just running 9 frames in the 10 frame box at the super. So 2 of the 9 would be foundation. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah.
I had good luck in the past. I'd feed light syrup in the spring and draw foundation, and that worked good. But it seemed like my bees all went crazy when I did that. I was doing that back when I was having a whole lot of trouble with swarms. So I don't know if I just gave them too much of a sugar buzz too early or what the deal was, but I'd rather not do that if I don't have to.
Yep.
So do you pull the frames together when you put a blank one in there, or do you leave them spaced out?
Are you talking about brood or in the supers?
In the supers, when you're trying to draw some new honeycomb.
I'm going to come in, I guess, probably the 3rd frame from each side. Like I said, it'll be 9 frames in a 10 frame box.
Yeah.
So the 3rd frame in on each side will just be a foundation and the rest drawn.
Because I do something similar. I typically run 8 frames in a 10 frame box for the honey supers. Mm-hmm. But when I put in one that doesn't have any drawn comb in it, I take the 2 on the outside of it and pull them together. So there's not a huge gap there. Because a lot of times if you leave too much gap, they just keep making the honey frame wider.
Right. Yeah, now I know what you're talking about there. Yeah, they'll keep drawing out the wax on the drawn one and not do anything on the foundation.
So I pull them together. And sometimes I'll
Yep.
put two undrawn ones together. It seems to, at least they'll start on one side of it. But I usually start with 10 in there anyway, and with some of them that are undrawn, and then I'll come back later and pull two as they start to fill them up.
Yep. What was that Matt said? How many pounds did he distribute this year?
Over 5,000, I think.
5,000, I think.
Wow.
That man's got a strong back because that sugar is not light.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's since I've been on the chats and people that's on YouTube and seeing people start like Grammy and start something up and Matt start something up and watching people grow. I just enjoy it. The bee community is awesome.
Yeah, I wish I'd have got a little more from Matt. We got a little bit from him at the expo, but I'd already bought some fondant, and but I said I want to try it at least. So we got some from him and put it on when we came back. I tell you, the bees loved it. They run through it. So they just now, well, someone's already finished it up, but what maybe a little remnants left on it. But if I had to do over again, I'd got some more if I hadn't already had some bought. But I see why people likes it so much. I know our bees down here, and like I said, it's easy to work with. We did a little video on it and put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Got a follow-up video. I hadn't got it put on yet. I was putting it on, and then went back and checked them this past Monday. I got a little follow-up video on that. So I did one on, just pulling it out of the box and putting it in bags and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy to work with. And like I said, the bees seem to really. Now we do a little bit different than we got a feeder box that we made. We run the rapid rounds when we run sugar water.
Mm-hmm.
We just got a little hole in the middle. So we leave it on during the winter. We pull those feeders off, and so during the winter we we got a piece of burlap we put in there and just kind of keep putting moisture out of it. So we keep that box on all through the winter, and so we put that fondant on. I think it was I don't know who came out with it, but they call it a fondant helper. Just a little round. In a high bag, you can just twist it and it cuts a hole in it. Just stick it over that hole in the center. And so with Matt's, all I did was took my knife and just cut a little circle and set it right over that same deal. Let them come up through that hole.
Mm-hmm.
The further out they go, the more bees they get. We checked some today. Well, a little bit was left all the way around the outer ring. They were still circling that thing.
Yep.
Looked like a high school fight on a basketball court. Everybody
Yep. Ooh.
They don't seem to leave much of it though. Like I said, they really take it to the corners, and when they eat it, they clean that thing up.
Yeah.
Some of them before where they always leave the corners and stuff on them.
Mm-hmm.
But that they really seem to take it all the way. And just
There
empty
was
it
nothing in those
whole
bags
bag.
I pulled out. There were bees in the bags looking for more. That's what I'll call it. It was all in the bags I had.
Yeah, we
Like
pulled
it's
ours
all
off this week, and I said, "Your bees need to go find something a real job to do." I said, "Y'all just like the lounge. They were just hanging out in the bag. They wouldn't have thought ain't nothing here but smell."
Right.
And they were still in there.
Remembering the way it was.
I shook them out. I said, "Y'all need to go out and make a living now."
Yeah.
That's fun.
Oh, well, hopefully after this cold spell, spring will just roll and we can quit worrying about it.
Yep.
So, but it is just February, so I guess we shouldn't be too surprised that we're going to have a cold spell.
Yeah. It can be pretty cold over into April, certain times.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
We've been known for those March snows around here. Not that
Yeah, we get some
very
big
much snow, but most of ours come one day and leaves the next, so it doesn't usually cause much trouble.
Yeah. I'm hoping that little bit of that thin sugar syrup that I put in will kick them into high gear. With the pollen there, it's good.
Yeah, I think
Drawing
that's a
from
good
the inlet
compliment this time of year.
and brood, and it's not going to get cold enough around here to worry about.
The only trouble we have with, or I have with syrup around here this time of year is the cold nights. If you leave the syrup out overnight and it gets down in the 30s, then
Yeah.
That cold syrup, the bees will still try to take it, but it kind of locks them up and causes them some trouble. I try not to put any more out during the day than I know they'll take it all, so there won't be any left out overnight. So I can put some more out in the morning.
Yeah.
Once it'll stay up in the 60s overnight, that's not a problem at all. But that 30-degree syrup's pretty chilly drink.
Yeah, mine will have about a couple of days of that, but I decided to go ahead and take a chance because I can't get to them but about every 2 weeks. I guess I could, but you're still like 27 miles one way.
Yeah.
Well, boys, we're going to go ahead and close the chat down for the night. I still haven't eaten my supper yet, so I'm going to do that. I was eating when I got on with Keith.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, but appreciate you folks coming on, being with us tonight. Please show back up Thursday night, and we'll do it all over again, talk some more about bees. Hopefully the weather will be more cooperative, and I will continue to be jealous of these folks in the South like Philip and Larry that are getting to really get into their bees and enjoy them right now. So it's headed north, and that's what I'm always looking forward to. But I just want to tell you folks, we appreciate you. God bless, and we'll see you next time.
Night, everybody.
See y'all.